Hello and welcome back to the BWN Podcast. Today is episode 14. Now finally, because I got this messed up in previous episodes, the penultimate one of this first season of the new iteration. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. We've kind of done these two back to back. As I said last week, you'll have noticed, and the finale is next week, and we're trying to get someone very special in. Today we're going to, we're going to try and have it anyway, our last student podcast of this season. We are definitely going to try and get a lecturer in because there's been a bit of a hiatus there, and get one in for next week. But for our last student podcast of this particular season, we have Rodrigo Alarcón. Am I saying that right? Yeah.
For not a native Spanish speaker, really good. Yeah.
Is that right? How would you pronounce that?
It's quite fun because lately, because when I first got here, I used to say it just like that, Rodrigo Alarcón.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't want to piss people off, but then I've been getting a little bit more confident and stuff. So whenever someone asks me my name, I just like to kind of take the piss and I say like as I would say it in Spanish, so rolling the R's and stuff. So it will be Rodrigo Alarcón, but I know not everyone around here can do it, so I feel a little bit disrespectful asking for them to call me like that. So I just you can call me Rodri if you want. That's fine.
I know. I hear that a lot. To be fair,
yeah.
I know Philip likes to. That's So obviously, with to anyone who's like really, really in tune with network stuff, this is not the first time that we've done something. I think I'm not sure outside of it what else outside of the Variety Act we've got. I don't think there's anything.
No.
I don't think anything, because I know with certain people I've had like one day on set for something that's more general, but like I think with you it is literally just that we did.
I think once I was supposed to help you with something, or like we were talking about it and I just couldn't make it that day.
Yeah.
I think for one of the, I don't know if it was supposed to be filming on like the volume or
it's
but it
like
must
a
be
webcon thing, probably.
It must be some of that stuff like on set, actual like
it will be
inside the uni.
Definitely. We've, for the context of the little thing that we did do, Rodrigo was very kind enough to help me just operating camera for the destination video. Very small one. It wasn't a big one on the album, The Variety Act, back in September. It wasn't. It was meant to be probably a bigger video than what it originally turned out to be. And it's the biggest lesson in my life I've ever learned about location recce's.
Yeah, It was a big one for me too as well. Because after that, I don't know. Whenever I've had a shoot at a place that I don't really know thoroughly, I've always been like, we need to, I don't know, be in the place once for just checking around, and then twice if possible for actually starting drawing out the scenes. I don't know, not me, I'm saying me because like I usually take the role of director, but if I'm just part of the crew, I'll just, I don't know, ask for at least 2 days in the place so we can kind of plan out how the film is going to look in the end.
What happened was essentially with the nursery, to those of you who know or sort of people who've known me in my life sort of and thought it was a very nostalgic and nice thing to do and recognise where it was I was doing that video. It was my first, I'd say, my first enquired location ever, where I actually went out to somewhere that isn't just a public place or somewhere that's part of my educational establishment. So the first time I actually inquired to go somewhere. You could technically count Diego's earlier in the album, but frankly I would have counted it if it was the full video, because the environment didn't turn out to be that great on the day, and there was people piling in. It wasn't private. There was people piling in, and we just kind of got the intro essentially. So this is kind of the first main time which I did that, and the lesson that I learned was I turned up and I was expecting the layout of the place to just be completely different as I remembered, because I'd even gone in recent years and it still looked exactly the same. The one time I actually went to go in, only a couple of years after the last time I'd been in, they'd only just that summer, the following summer, because we shot it in May 24. The following summer, I believe, in 23, they came back in September, probably 8-9 months before we shot, and they'd completely done the place out. So it was they'd made it all natural and green, whereas before it had very sort of yellow and blue tones, and it looked very different. Like the building, the structural layout was the same, but all like the furniture, the childhood furniture, had all changed. So any plans I had about like long tracking in shots, all of it that I envisioned, that's probably how I'll do the chorus, completely out the window the second I saw it. And because I'm still kind of gaining that confidence out in the field, doing things properly. It was my first in quiet location. I couldn't falter. And it was a case of I just needed to do something.
Exactly.
So we just improvised.
You need to use the place and use the time that you have.
Yep.
I think you said, of course, like you're in a learning process, and I think we all are. Like, this is just things that happen to us as we're, I don't know, in our uni years. I think everybody just learns in a different way what they have to learn in order to become the person that will eventually graduate and, I don't know, find a place in industry or like start freelancing, whatever. But I think that was your moment to learn that bit.
Yeah.
And of course, I've had my humbling moments. I think we all have. I don't know. I think it was a good experience though, because it taught us a lot. But I think. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
Just the producer casually just crocheting.
All right. I thought. Never mind. So, what was I saying? I'll probably yapping about stuff.
It's I think 2024 was that was definitely my humbling year. And from start, definitely early in the year, and I was in a really good place by the end of it, and I honestly worked my arse off the whole time. This year's fun. Like this year, I'm also working very, very hard, but this year feels fun. Like when this year's projects come out, I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a really fun time. Everything from the doc, which you've seen at least a small cut of it, rather than the long one, that's going to be extended and no doubt better.
I would love to like watch the full thing.
Yeah, honestly, the kitchen thing. With the camp, I was even saying this last week with Jacob. Well, when they're saying this anyway, the kitchen sequence, it's not even remote. Like it is so much funnier because we're trying to make it seem more professional. There's so much we cut out. Making it for YouTube is going to be a completely different experience. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So it's
I think a lot of projects in uni are like that because we were just at the cinema with Nick and he was showing us. Well, of course you know that dissertations they have to be in the 15-minute. Like how do you call it, like time limit. But I don't know, he was showing us a 29-minute cut of One Foot Out the Door, and it felt much more like I liked it a lot. I liked it thoroughly, but I know that a lot of stuff that's achieved in the film by allowing them to have that runtime, it wouldn't be like anywhere near emotionally, or I don't know, like it wouldn't get as much of the audience if it was like if it had to stick to that 15-minute time limit. Yeah. So I do get that. That's why I would like to watch your thing like completely, you know. I don't know. I guess sometimes, especially in my documentary as well, I would have liked to have more time allowed. Yeah. Like a longer run time, because I don't know. I think we managed to get our point across, but I think we could have been even more emotional or get a little bit more from the audience, as in, we'll actually give them more, you know. But I completely get that. Yeah.
The and as a last note, in terms of sort of the network context for the two of us, is that. We've, at least for the future, at least right now, the only thing that we definitely have talked about is doing something music based again, in the sense of, but not, whereas before it was just operating, and I really appreciated the favour you really just taking a crack and having a go at one of them potentially on the second album. I know we've discussed that at the time of recording. We're trying to get production off the ground with it. I can now say it's basically written, so it's done. It's written, music and lyrics. It's ready to go, and I am in rehearsal now. And I will say, at least from a writing standpoint, I'm very much looking forward to it, because I think it is a considerable step up from the first one, and because I've kind of focused it more to electronic, dance music, space theme, and it's a lot more localized than the last one was, where it was kind of all over the place. This is, I'm very much looking forward to this one. And I think it'll be definitely at least some kind of step up from the first. But yeah, that's kind of how the future's somewhat looking. But that's the total network context. In background, before we kind of get to the context of the episode that we're going to talk about, where did things start for you? Because I know we're talking from a different experience of an international student coming here with Nietzsche earlier on in the season, of coming from far away and finding a sort of a second home in Sunderland and really trying to build a life out here.
Definitely feels like a second home, yeah.
Is how you can obviously shed a light a bit on your student experience in that way, of course, but also just in general, like your filmmaking roots, like what's kind of the story that's brought you here?
You know what? When I think back, I don't know, because I really don't know exactly where I kind of got that interested in filmmaking, because there's a lot of subtopics that conform filmmaking, as Nick always is, or our lecturers always say, because you've got I don't know, storytelling, you've got the more tech stuff like I don't know, camera work, audio, all that stuff. I think storytelling wise, you know, well, everyone as a kid, I don't know, we play around with toys or whatever, but whenever I talk about like this whole thing of moving from Peru to here with my mom particularly, she always says, well, I don't know, I always thought of you as somebody that wanted to do something related to arts or storytelling, because as a kid you wouldn't just play with your toys like whatever, you would actually try to tell a story through whatever you were playing at the moment, or you would like to recreate scenes from films that we had seen, me and my mom, I don't know, particularly like Disney films, like I don't know, say Cars was in particular the one that I really like to recreate. And even though I was a baby, I do remember, I don't know, playing with my little like car toys. So yeah, I think from the storytelling side or approach, I would say very, very early as a kid. Visual side, as in, I don't know, for the looks of film, because it's like really compelling, you know. And of course, with how many technological advances we've been having in the past few years, every film looks even better than the previous one. So I would say that sparked during the pandemic, because a lot of free time, you just, I don't know, want to get a little bit distracted, don't think about whatever's happening outside your household, outside your, in that time, your actual safe surroundings. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I always had it in me, but I didn't really realize that it was something that I was really feeling some sort of calling to do till only a couple of years ago. So yeah, but it's really nice to talk about it, because I'm always, I would say, learning something new about myself whenever I go back to that conversation, because it's like, oh, now that I think about it, I don't know, I didn't realize I did that as a kid, or I did that as I grew up. So like maybe I always had it in me, but I just didn't know. And it's nice that now I'm picking up all those details. Yeah,
it's like, it's, I think there's definitely a thing there where there's just very early signs you show, and it kind of pays off later. Like the fact, look, I've been talking about music today. Apparently, from what I've been told from very, very, very trusted sources in the matter, I was with bath toys when I was growing up. I was big on drums, so I had this little pair of drums in the bath that I used to just patter on all the time and make a beat with. And growing up, I used to just love music. I used to listen to it, and I used to listen to classical stuff. But I know that's a big thing with babies, but even younger, like a toddler, I used to listen to quite classical stuff. And it's not just my love for film scores. Like, scoring is an enormous love of mine when it comes to film and what we're doing, but just music in general. And then it got to about year 3 in this education system in this country, and I did the whole violin thing for a little bit of time, and just it fell off and stopped, and that's when I lost it. So I kind of lost it for so long, and I started to appreciate music from like an underlying, like the bass, the beat of something, rather than just the lyrics that people would sing at a Glastonbury or a gig or a festival. And I appreciate it in a different, like a big hit And I think that's kind of why I leaned into Calvin Harris so much, because there was the undercurrent of the instrumental I appreciated more. And then you eventually get to a point where, with everything I'm doing YouTube wise, I find this like I idolize everything like the Sidemen in KSI, and I see what he can do, and then I see people around me, local people like in my year group at school, starting to form bands and do music outside of thing, and before you know it, that kind of rap kind of trend at the time with JJ and everything, combined with all that history when I was younger, it just came out, and I basically did a rap track for fun. And now I'm in a position where now I've advanced it a good few years down the line. I'm now vocally doing it, and I'm actively trying to get better. That it's kind of all come full circle. So I understand. I understand what you're saying. That's just one medium of what I'm doing, but I completely get it. It's like it all kind of comes back around. It's like little just hints of what could be, and I do honestly think with music, I think if I make something of this in the next few years, in the sense of with that particular part of my life, I'm actually making good shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes us think maybe I did always have it in this. Like you.
Yeah, I think it's all about what you're saying. Like just stepping up as you go, I don't know. If you want to get deeper into whatever field you're trying to explore, in your case, well, what we're talking about right now, music, I think it's just a thing of trying to get better at it. And I think it's also like, as you said, like a full circle moment type of thing. Because I think our collaboration that we're going to have for the next album, it's kind of, okay, we'll do what we were trying to do in the first place that last time. Yeah. But we'll do it right this time.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to, as you say, step up the game. And I think that's just like more than all the motivation that we need just to get it done as best as we can. So yeah.
No. So that's definitely a way in to this discussion. With sort of filmmaking, I know that with in terms of the Yo group, and I would have said this way earlier in the season, and I think I did say it to his face with Palmer, and I said earlier in the season that I think with the sort of major directing presences in this Yo group, you and him are definitely up there. If I'm not going to be so humble, I would throw myself in that ring, but it's not the same because I just do so much shit. It's not really the same kind of thing.
I mean, we're all students. We're all in a learning curve.
But it's like I do like so much. It's like I'm a bit undefinable at this point. Like I can't really. But in reality, when I look at it now, I think I'm way more of a producer. When I look at it, like when I actively am out on the field, it's really I'm more doing producing work. But you two, I would say, are kind of those big figures, definitely. And I know that you're at least, I obviously I won't say what, but I know you two are looking to very much collaborate in the future, going forward.
Yes.
And with that kind of status that at least right now that you're at, obviously knowing that leaving here, things do start from the bottom, and everyone understands that. But with that role that you have, with style, what would you say yours is, and where does that come from in terms of passion? So how do you approach things when it comes to making films? Because a part of what we're going to talk about today is, also at least the main topic of it, is what differs in terms of culture and style. Because when I'm sure Nick would agree with this, like when we talk about it, there's a way to making things that kind of, at least British filmmaking's defined in the last 10, 15 years or so, in a way that from someone who goes to the cinema, or did, right now I don't have the time, but did consistently for a few years there, so often, we're very much creating a bit of an indie culture. Like I don't think we make any, at least all the time, very big movies. We're quite very low scale stories, almost borderline guerrilla filmmaking. Like we don't make them in a massive way, and maybe money's a big factor of that. I imagine it is, but it's quite scaled back. And what I want to understand is what film is like from at least your assessment personally, from your culture in Peru, but also stylistically, what do you bring to it? Because it's about that kind of dynamic of deciphering, do you bring something to it through your own experiences in life, or is there just a little sprinkling in there as well that the national identity of your filmmaking just seeps through? It's like, that's something that I've thought about. It's like, is there a bit of British filmmaking in me? That I've thought of that before.
Well, I think to answer the question about style, I think genres really. I think I'm still kind of discovering what genre and I don't know context of filmmaking I am the most comfortable with because I like to I don't know just experiment.
Yeah.
Because I've done. I don't know if I could call it a melodrama. But yeah, we'll call it that. Like the first year film.
Yeah.
And then now I've done a thriller most recently. So it's like I don't know. I think a lot of genres can be like combined or I don't know, tested together, but I don't know. I would still like to try more stuff because I've had a lot of conversations with Nick lately, and he's very, very emphatic about the fact that as a director, I need to find my genre and learn as much as possible and kind of like master that particular genre. Because that's what my films, like my whole catalog of films, is gonna look like.
Yeah.
Like as a filmmaker, you have to, or at least that's what he says, you've got to stick to a genre and try to perfect your knowledge on it as much as possible. But yeah, I do think that well, I don't know if out of the ones that I've done in uni, but from the ideas that I would have for films that I would like to make in the future, definitely there's a lot of subtopics, or I don't know, the main idea of the film in general talks a lot about my country's history or my experience as a kid, or I don't know, as a teenager back there, experiences that I've lived in the past, stuff that has been important in my life. Definitely, yeah. And that's also what I would like to pursue as a career in film. I don't know, like try to bring as much as my culture as possible into the films whenever they actually provide a platform for it. Because if the film doesn't really call for anything from my background to be included, I just won't. Because it's not a thing of, oh, I want to include that because I want to have a little, I don't know, bit of my Peruvianness, if you can call it that way, in the film. Because I don't think that even does justice to it. You know, if you want to include something that you feel like your own, genuinely like your own, you might as well do it in the most noticeable way.
Yeah.
Not just as a little thing or a concentrated thing in the film, but a much major topic. So yeah, I would say though that I don't know whether it's a good idea to pursue that kind of story whilst being in the UK, because you know what Nick always is like. You mentioned it yourself now. We're trying to make British films because that's what the people around us know the best. That's what they're gonna like to consume. However, stuff related to my country, you know, it's quite complicated to make films that really have a big impact, or I don't know, like major films about really big topics that have been really important for my nation. Say, I don't know, well, the age of terrorism, for example, in Peru.
Yeah.
It's really complicated to do films about that now because the government will just ban them.
Yeah.
And like, no finance from the government. You would have to find the money yourself, which is already a big problem.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I don't know, you count your money in pounds. We count it in soles. Just divide a pound by 5. That's what my currency is worth. So it's kind of complicated to finance a film over there.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about something that's so close to the people in my country, such as what happened during those, I want to call them tragic times because they were, but of course, as a 20-year-old man, I didn't experience that. I just know it because of my parents or my granddad, or I don't know, all of that stuff. I would really like to dive into it, but it's a really delicate topic, and also it's complicated to talk about it because it's getting just censored. So right now, I'm in that, like, I'm kind of in the middle of things, like what should I do? What should I base my film career and my catalog on? Like, I don't know.
2 side questions to bounce off that. An idea of that kind, which to me sounds very culturally significant on an international level. Like, a story like that would mean as much to Peru, I'd imagine.
Yes.
To something almost like kind of a highlight that City of God did on Brazil. Like something like that. Like something like, because I know obviously, at least in Northeast, I imagine a lot of sixth form can talk about this in terms of like A-level film studies. That's across the board. Most people I ask, they did that at A-level around here. That's what I mean. But there's 2 things there that I bounce off that. One is the censorship you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you potentially consider for the purposes of that distributing elsewhere, like here? Is that something where you will not be censored in such a way, likely? And the other one would be, is that a story that, much like City of God, where this is pretty obvious, but it also does naturally, unfortunately, the way the world works, it does limit appeal to certain audiences. Is that something you would do in native tongue? Or would...
in Spanish?
Yeah. Or would it be spun in a way that it's for a mass audience, it potentially be converted to English? Because in my camp, it would obviously be that.
Of course.
But that's another thing to talk about, because automatically, at the drop of a hat, that would limit audience. So it's... but then again, you say that a City of God now, and they're laughing, because that's now one of the more...
Exactly.
That's one of the most
That's
significant
exactly what I was
time.
thinking about as you mentioned it.
Yep.
Thing is, well, of course, I'm just, I don't know, second year of uni, 20 years old. Like, psychologically, I am not in, I don't know, I am not capable of doing that type of film yet. Mm-hmm. Would I like to? Yeah, definitely. And would I like a Peruvian film to have as much success and recognition? Mostly recognition, because you can get awards and whatever. But if you actually manage to transcend the time, because people look back on City of God, like they actually rewatch it.
23 years.
And they still talk about it. So would I like one of my films to have that some sort of recognition as like people are going to talk about it in 20, 40 years time? It's going to be taken as an example, not for just Peruvian filmmaking, but in general, like international filmmaking. I would love that, yes, 100%. But I don't know if that's going to be the case, you know? And I would love to create another story, or a story based on the, I don't know, general idea of what happened in real life in my country. But I don't know, I feel that wouldn't make as much justice to my culture. And also, like that was kind of to answer the question of, would you rather, I don't know, keep it as Spanish, well, not Spanish, but like a film in Spanish, or change it to English? Like, if it was that easy, believe me, I would change the language of the film to English, but it's just not the same. All the cultural richness of the film, well, not every single bit of the of culture would be lost, but I think a lot of what I would want to communicate to my people Because of course, as I said, like I would love it to be like a film that's recognized all around the world, but I also want it to be something that my people can cherish.
Mm-hmm.
So it would take out a lot.
Yeah.
To not do it in Spanish and have some sort of Peruvianisms on it. It's like it's as tiny as phrases or words that only Peruvians say and only Peruvians understand. But that is so precious to me that I think I couldn't make this film in any other language than Spanish. I probably couldn't make this film in any other country than Peru. Of course, for financing, I don't know. I would like I would like the government to help, but at the moment, it's unlikely. So I would have to, I don't know, go ask for help to I don't know, like probably a Spanish production company.
Yeah,
because they speak Spanish as well. So it's like it's rentable for them, but I don't know. It's a really tricky question actually, but I like to discuss about this topic because there's this one particular idea that I have for a film based in Peru. But yeah, I don't know. I will definitely make it if I do make it into industry. Like, if I manage to break in, I think it's my duty to make that film, or at least one film about my country. But yeah.
Do you think you said that you said you weren't ready a little while ago? Do you think that is kind of an almost like and I don't even mean skill wise. I mean, do you think emotionally you aren't ready to tell that kind of story yet, or do you think given the opportunity, even given the skill set, you woke up tomorrow and you had it, would you be ready? But yet you're still as you are at 20, or do you want time to make you ready, and your mind to aid you in a way that you're ready to handle something that sensitive, or do you think you have it in you to do it now? Because this isn't even in my opinion, this isn't even a question about ego and sensitivity. It's like it's like, in my opinion, I think there's a hell of a lot I can handle now that I can take. Skill set's my question. Okay. I think emotionally, I think I can take it. That it's an emotional question to you. Like, if you woke up tomorrow with the correct skill set and experience and the resources to do so, are you ready to tell that story?
I would like to use time to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, of course, like, because you talk about my emotional part as a director, but I think managing emotions as the leader of the crew as a director is also skill. So I would say that I'm not ready yet because there's a lot of things that I don't know yet, and that involves skills, that involves theory, that involves experience, a lot of experience, because I need to keep filming stuff. I need to keep capturing stuff all the time. I don't do it as much as I could. I don't do it as much as I need to, and I know this. I don't read as much as I should. There's a lot of stuff that I need to change, and I'm aware of that, and I'm working on it. And I think it's good that I am, as I said, aware of all this, because it kind of helps me to come back to my senses and tell myself that I've got to know my place. I've got to know my place in terms of knowledge, but also, I don't know, I guess there's a lot of stuff that you learn as you grow up. So age definitely is a limiting factor, because I think I just haven't lived enough to know how to manage that type of story. And of course, like, I want to be as respectful as possible, because it's, I don't know, it's my country that I'm representing. It's not any story. So I want to be ready. I want to know that I'm ready to tell that story. And I think it's just a lot of different limiting factors involved.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with them. I'm okay with, I'm okay knowing that I'm not yet able to tell that story. And I'm fine with it. I'm happy. Because that just, I don't know, gives me time to learn and prepare myself as best as I can to, looking forward to when the moment comes.
Yeah.
And I feel ready.
I've to switch things over just briefly to the British side of things. I think when I think about it now, I don't massively again. I don't want to harp on for just a minute or two. I don't want to harp on this too long, but there's the more I'm actually we're having this line of discussion and I'm thinking about it. The one thing I have made, it does really come off when you really think about it, kind of like a social realist British film. It's very, very just on the ground.
Just talking about older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has that vibe.
I can see where you're coming.
No matter
see where you're coming from.
No matter how well executed, it has that vibe, and that's what I mean by there's just something there, and it was like instinctive almost. But the second part, which what I really want to relate to in terms of what you've been saying is, I think at the time, the reason why initially I've been so hurt, I laugh about it now, but how I've been just so hurt initially by the way it's been perceived in some ways is because I don't think I was ready to tell that story. And when I say that, when I did make it, I think I was in the worst time I've ever had. When I made that, I was right in the middle of what it is I was telling. And I wasn't thinking straight. And what that is a raw experience of just what was happening. And it wasn't straightforward. It wasn't thoroughly thought out. It was just as it was. And the irony is, and take from this what you will, I do feel ready now because I feel like I've crossed the brow of the hill. And now that I've gone down the other side, or come out of the dip, I feel ready to tell a story like that now. Whereas at the time, I didn't. So that's why I wanted to ask you about how you felt about that with your culture and something so serious. Is that whether you feel emotionally matured enough to tell something of that kind? Because in my case, I took something very personal, not culturally significant in the UK, but something very personal that I now looking back seemed very much done in that style. Intentionally, I think if you blended it with anything, I did take a lot from French New Wave because we studied it around the same time. So I took a little bit of it in there. But that's stylistically where it was coming from. But I don't think I was ready at the time. And I think a large part, if not, I'd say half of its execution faults were because of that. I don't think I was ready to tell a story like that. So it's, I think there's a lot to be said about being ready to tell what you're telling. Because I was even told there was one time I've had a draft, and who knows if this comes up in network eventually, to do some kind of story about university people in a TV format, like almost like a sitcom, but it's university students, and tell that story while we were here. And Nick himself advised me and said, no, you're not ready to tell that story yet because you haven't graduated.
And it makes a lot of sense, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think you can feel ready, you can really feel like you're ready to tell the story that you intended to tell with older at the time. And I think you said that was emotionally wise, right? Like from the emotional side, you feel ready now because you've been through it. Now you're over it. Now you understand how you felt. Now you've thought about it and you actually I don't know, processed everything that you were going through at the time, which is all right. But it's also it's also mature and intelligent to know that you also need more time for preparation time to get as much knowledge in the tech part as possible, or I don't know, get whoever that you want to work with to get as much knowledge as possible on the tech part. Because I don't know if you want to direct that film. I don't know if you still want to be the protagonist of a film. I don't know if you want to shoot it yourself.
What film?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying this. No. But really. I was saying all this, making reference to a possibility of reshooting older, because I don't think it would be like a crazy idea. But I'm just saying, take your time to learn, like, about the craft as much as possible.
Yeah.
You can feel like you're ready emotionally now, but you yourself, just a couple of minutes before this, you said that you don't know if you're as ready, like on the more practical side of filmmaking. Yeah. So if you're not, that's fine. And it's also respectful to yourself not to put it out there yet, because you want to make it as best as possible. My reason for not putting it out there, like the film about my country's story, is because I would have to say all that I've already said again, but you know why I'm not ready. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why I don't feel ready yet. Yours might be the tech part, and that's completely fine. And it's also okay for you to be like, okay, this is so close to me as a story that I want it to be the best delivery possible. Yeah. So I'm not gonna put it out there yet, so that I can learn as much as possible. So that whenever I feel ready, when the time comes, it's the best product that I can make. And that's also fine. That's also valid.
As a closing note before we get to our game today, I'd say, to wrap this up, because we've kind of discussed from both national points of view how it maybe seeps into what we're doing and what our processes are and how we want to carry that forward to the future. I want to ask about one singular... Well, when at A-level, I talked a lot about, or at least talked about in essays, but we taught a lot about auteurism, which frankly, to me anyway now, I don't think it's enormously valid, especially in a world, and I will say this particularly, if you want my reason why, specifically in a world post-Nick. I don't think the auteur thing, I don't buy into it as much as I used to. But to kind of stroke on that with us two, and what our processes might be, do you have a singular attribute? Because I know you said about genre, how you see me doing different things, but you're cherishing that and you're just trying different things and getting new experiences. What if you could say there's one core thing that you always try? Well, not even always try, it's like instinctive. It always ends up poking its head in your work. What would it be? Because for me, even the whole national identity, everything I've said about Older, the one thing I'll say about that film and about every single one of them, even fiction projects that aren't film, and music for that matter, that I'm developing across the next year or so, the big thing for me is always emotion. It always turns out to be so much more heavy and nuanced than even something lighthearted. There could be something. It's like James Gunn. There's always something that makes you like, oh, nearly shed a tear at some point. It's like there's always something there that's just heavier than you expect, and that's I find it unavoidable. There's emotion everywhere. Like passions, you could argue, but it's emotion always. So with your work, what is that one thing, to close up before our game, that you would say is the big thing that you kind of carry with you in your work?
You know what? I was trying to think about it as you were asking the question, and I was like, I'm not really sure, but emotion seems to be an appropriate answer to it. it feels right to me to say that my work is really emotive as well. But it's really it's really interesting, and I don't know. I like the fact that you also said emotion, because you've got your own way to communicate emotion. I've got my own way, so it's just the same type of the same attribute that we both share, but we just deliver it in different ways. And that's kind of the beauty of media, not just film, but there's just so many ways to say not the same thing, but something in the lines of, in this case, emotion. But I don't know, there's just so many possibilities, so many ways you could approach it. So yeah, I would say emotion as well. But I like that we, like, me and you and, well, the rest of directors or filmmakers in our year, or, well, whatever, in general, just film and media just communicates emotion in so many different ways. And I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. Come a hell of a lot. It's only just realised that before we get to the game. I only just realised that I've come, and I haven't thought about this in so long. We've come a hell of a long way from meeting on that.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because I said this for Philip's episode, but I'll say very briefly. We debated whether it was you or him that I linked up with first on that. But basically, yeah, you were one of the first people I met with this whole thing. So it's I've only just remembered that now. So no, it's nice to come full circle with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Let's move on to our sort of game today. I do apologise to the producer. We've kind of went on a bit of a lovely discussion there. I barely followed any of the prompts, but I think it was but I think it went I think it was really nice in the end, to be honest. Right, okay, film industry around the world quiz. Okay, so 5 questions again, is it? Cool, brilliant. Right, let's bring this home. Right, number 1. Which country has the largest film industry by number of movies produced annually? Is this even... Oh, actually, number... That, I don't know. Do you know what? I'm gonna say India. I'm gonna go against them all. I think it's India.
I mean, I would say anyone would say United States, but like, since I don't know, it's so obvious. Like, I don't want to say United States, and I kind of know in the back of my mind that it's not the United States.
Oh yeah. The options, by the way: United States, India, China, and France. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say China.
All right then. Let's say. Oh,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I didn't think so. Right. Okay. Number 2. What's the name of Nigeria's film industry? Oh yeah. Known for producing low budget but high volume movies. Is it Nollywood? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Nollywood.
It doesn't really sound right though. It sounds so obvious.
Because it's definitely the bottom 2, but I'm pretty sure.
Just for the sake of saying a different answer than you, will you go with Nollywood?
Yeah.
I'll go with Collywood.
Yeah. Number 3. Which country is famous for its highly stylized martial arts films, especially from the 1970s and 1980s? Oh. I believe it's between 2, but I have no idea. Japan or China? I have no clue. I'm gonna highly stylized. I'm gonna take it Japan. I don't know. I know it's not.
I don't know.
I know it's not like extreme anime back then, but just something about that flair that I feel like they would have. If it's highly stylized, it's giving it to us.
Yeah.
I think it's Japan, not China. I think China's a bit more conservative with it. Oh, well.
Bosh.
Absolute shit. Just complete shit. It was China. Right, okay. Oh, yeah, I should have known. Yeah, Jackie, yeah. I should have known. Yeah, right. France hosts one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world. What is it called?
Cannes.
I know it's the Cannes Film Festival. Because do you want a world exclusive?
What?
I don't think I need to tell you what it is. I put something into it.
Oh shit. Alright.
I will not confirm or deny which project it was. But I put something into it. Oh, it was a different time, man. I was such an idiot. Right, okay. Which country is known for anime? A distinct style. Oh, there we go. I'll get one right. A distinct style of animation that has influenced global entertainment. A, South Korea. B, China. C, Japan. D, Germany. Japan.
Go on.
Yeah. Brilliant. Cool. Is that Finn? Yes, Finn. Brilliant. Right. Enjoy yourself then.
Yeah.
Good.
It was really good. Thank you for giving me the time on the platform.
No, brilliant.
Really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
So, next week, guys, it is our season finale. Again, for just the confirmation of actually confirming who it is until the last minute, down to the wire, in case something messes up. I won't confirm who that is, but we are trying to get a lecturer. If not, I apologise if it comes the next week and that's not how it panned out. But no, yep, we are trying to get a lecturer on for our final episode of season 1, and as last week I said, season 2 will both premiere and finish within 2025. So there will be another season this year, which I can now, right now at least, I'm not going to confirm. We're going to say 10 episodes. So there's going to be 10 in season 2, and that will both start and end within 2025 at some point. But nope, season 1 will be all wrapped up and ending next week. So make sure to join us then next time on the BWN Podcast. But for today's case, at least, for myself and Rodrigo, we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.